Oh, we're gonna go up in the attic and we have to, guys. We came quick. Love y'all.
If you have ever stepped foot in these Appalachian Mountains and hiked them, we need you here. We need foot. We need people on foot. If you have ever hiked the Rocky Mountains, get here. We need you. We need people experiencing hiking. There's only a few ways to these people. It is to foot, horseback, or helicopter. Dirt bikes, ATVs, side-by-sides. If you have them and can get to East Tennessee or Western North Carolina, we need you. Do not listen to the news when they tell you that they don't want you, they don't need you. I'm telling you, I am here. I live here. I have been already. I'm telling you, we need you. We want you here. The hell with what FEMA says. The hell with what American Red Cross says. They're not here. I'm telling you, they're not here helping. It's been a week and they're not here. We need manpower. So if you are an experienced hiker, we need you in East Tennessee and Western North Carolina. If you are experienced dirt biker, we need you. If you are experienced in ATVs, side-by-sides, four-wheelers, whatever, we need you. We cannot get automobiles up in there. Trucks is not an option. Cars is not an option. If you own private helicopters, we need you. If they threaten to arrest you, we got you as the American people. We need you. These people need saved. These bodies need to be brought down. It is not fair to these families that are looking for their missing loved ones right now, not to have closure. These bodies have got to be brought out of this mountain. You all got to understand, these towns smell like death. I've been down to the river. It smells like death. I've never in my life smelled that kind of death. I've smelled a body that was burnt, but it's a different kind of smell, and it's a smell I'll never forget. I have already seen bodies. I'm telling you, I've seen them from my own eyes. That is something I'm never going to forget, ever. But people's got to understand they're washing up on banks. This water has already reached Santee Cooper, South Carolina. Those people are not prepared for what they might possibly encounter, okay? There's a chance that bodies may wash up on their banks in Santee Cooper, South Carolina. They are trying to get them out of the water before they keep drifting. But there's so much we can do as American people because we don't have our military, and it's not their fault. The administration won't release them to us. They won't sign the orders. Guys, we've got to get manpower over here. There is people in those mountains. They are finding them every day that are still alive, and they've not had anything to eat or drink in a week. We need foot. People on foot. So please make this video go viral. Y'all done it before. Do it again. Share the crap out of this video, people. We need manpower. Don't listen to the news. Don't, because the news ain't telling the truth.
Why do you think the military has not yet helped? Because the powers that be are pulling the strings. They don't want them to help. They don't want anyone to help. They don't want you to help. They want to tell you that everything's fine, that they're getting FEMA relief, that they're getting, their checks, that everything is a rumor. But if you look down these rabbit holes, if you do your own research, I promise you, you will see how corrupt and dark and dirty this whole gets. Welcome back to another episode of the High Frequency Chaos. Today we're diving down the creepy rabbit hole, or the disturbing rabbit hole of BlackRock, and their intentions to move into Asheville and the surrounding devastating areas to mine what lies beneath the mountains. And I'm also going to show you some more clips of the aftermath of these communities and what they're going through. FEMA is not helping. The government is not helping. Mainstream is not covering because they focused on a diddler and a list. While we're focused on the mainstream and a diddler, we're missing World War III here, inflation, migrant crisis, the supply chain. We're going to dive down a supply chain. And now this Hurricane Helene. And there's two more on the horizon. All right, grab your drink of choice. We're about to get diving down this rabbit hole. All right, let's get it. Salute. And also joining us today is Hawk and Spike. Meet Hawk and meet Spike. Let's dive down some rabbit holes. Let's go.
Shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh my god! Oh my! No! No!
But it's the look in her eyes that I can't forget. Last night, somebody was at the river and just looking at the destruction and cars upside down and saw Halloween costumes floating down a river. And then she saw faces and realized they weren't costumes. She said, I've seen bodies and I'm not okay with that. And then somebody called and said, when is somebody gonna come collect all the bodies that have piled up?
Kamala, how them people supposed to apply for them benefits and apply for that $750 if they ain't got no internet? Kamala, they lost everything. Their houses is gone. Their cars is gone. Their jobs is gone. The buildings ain't there no more. And you getting on TV talking about, yes, all they got to do is apply through that link so that way we can send them the $750. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of Maui. Y'all remember Maui? And the people of Lahaina? When that fire came out and destroyed everything on that island? And you know what pissed me off about that situation? When Oprah Winfrey and Dwayne The Rock Johnson got on this app talking about, we need you guys to donate. Who gonna donate? Who is you guys? Both of y'all have contacts in your phone that are billionaires and millionaires. And if each one of those millionaires in your contact list donated $1 million to the people of Lahaina, that whole island could have been restored within maybe 5 or 6 months. And apparently Congress rejected to add more funds to FEMA. They on recess right now. Did you know that? Our Congress is on recess right now. They just got back on September the 6th. And it's called the election recess. Baby, you can look up their schedule. You can go online and look up Congress's schedule. I promise you, I'm not lying. These people in Chimney Rock, North Carolina have lost literally everything. I live in East Tennessee. But I don't live... It wasn't far from us, but there were still parts of East Tennessee that got touched. We're like in the valley. I'm not going to say my city. You can figure it out. We're in the valley of East Tennessee, and we were under high wind advisory from the evening time up until the nighttime of the next day. And these people down there, they can't call their relatives. They sitting there posting videos on Instagram and TikTok. Making videos. They're making videos so see if their family members can find them. But I don't know how they're posting them though. And Kamala get up there talking about they can apply for $750 ain't nothing but 4 bags of groceries and a haircut. That ain't nothing but 4 bags of groceries and a haircut. That's what $750 will get you today in this doggone economy. I don't even mean to be talking long like this. I really don't. But it needs to be said. This is shameful and it's embarrassing. And I know what y'all gonna say. Maya, she can't control the amount. I don't care. We can send billions of dollars to the Ukraine, but we can't use the billions of dollars to help the people in our own country. You know that people in Flint, Michigan still got dirty water? Did you know that? Did you know that people in Flint, Michigan still got dirty water? You know what? America is a simulation. Like I said, this is not a real place. This is not a real place. It was created by people that were rich, and the system is set up to benefit them. All right, I'm done rambling, but that's just what was on my mind.
If you want to donate, be careful of the big wig organizations. FEMA, I wouldn't give anything to them. I would give it to the links and below for these actual TikTok people who are going through these things. They're posting the aftermath of what they've lost and their stories that the media will not cover because they want to throw you in a different direction. Diddler. They don't want to focus on the $1 billion in Ukraine. Congress was nowhere to be found. And this disaster happened. They just got back. They should have been there in September. They shouldn't have just gone back now. But what are your thoughts?
No! Oh my gosh! Holy shit!
A lot of people don't like the truth, but here it is. Our corrupt politicians have sold this nation out, sold you out, your future, your children. They've destroyed the economy. They're liquidating your future, stealing your tax dollars and sending it off all around the world. It's a fire sale. They've destroyed this future generation's education system to the point where they don't know what's up, what's down. These globalists have gone to other globalist countries, said, empty out your jails. We got a plan. Get rid of all of your less desirables. Don't worry, we'll pay to ship them up to the United States. Our plan is chaos. And then once they're there, we're going to give them enough money just to get by day to day. And then we're going to cut it. And that's when the party starts. You have no idea what's about to happen. And a majority of you don't care. This is all by design. This globalist agenda can't move forward with the United States still intact. That's the truth. Welcome to the Thunderdome. You don't have survival skills, knowledge, experience, better get on it. You have limited time. They're going to drop everything out. Countries around us are going to lock down their borders. And then they're going to kick the beehive.
All right, now we're about to get down into it. The nitty-gritty of things. The whole lithium run. Let's go.
I'll tell you what I find suspicious as shit, that one of the areas affected by Hurricane Helene is the world's largest lithium deposit, and the DoD just entered into an agreement with this company right here to mine lithium for electric cars starting in 2025. Now that area is completely devastated. This is a $90 million agreement between the DoD and this company right here to get Kings Mountain, North Carolina lithium mine up and running by 2030. If that area has been inundated, it's in a disaster disaster zone, then the government can come in and do eminent domain, and they can pay you what it was worth 5 years ago rather than what it's worth right now. Imagine that your home is turned into a watery lot, and the government comes to you and says, hey, I'll pay you what you paid for it. You're going to take it and you're going to go, right? What do you think is going to happen right here now that they want this lithium mine up and running by 2025, 2030 at the latest? Back in 1947, we had the Florida-Georgia hurricane, or Hurricane 9, and it was the first hurricane to be targeted for weather modification. What happened was General Electric, the U.S. Navy, the Army, the Air Force, they poured dry ice into this hurricane using airplanes to see what would happen. Would they slow it down? Well, what happened was it slowed down a little bit, but it turned west really sharp. Let me show you. This is the path that the hurricane took in 1947. Does it look similar to you? Probably not. It's a coincidence, right? Moving on. I'm sure this is just another coincidence, but do you know who owns the most shares in that lithium mine?
The proposed
BlackRock.
lithium mine from digging any further. Back in 2019, we first told you about Piedmont Lithium's plans to mine one of the world's most abundant lithium deposits a few miles east of Cherryville. The chemical element is critical to power our cell phones and electric vehicles, but as WCNC Charlotte's Brandon Goldner shows us, neighbors fear the mine will cause irreparable damage to their environment.
Piedmont Lithium insists they'll be good neighbors as they extract the lithium from rocks like this, but homeowners here believe the company will only cause harm to this land. The biggest reason why Will Baldwin loves visiting his grandparents' Gaston County home is all the things hiding in plain sight.
All these little places and home sites have interesting and so much historical value.
Piedmont Lithium also loves what's hiding in this part of the county. Except what they find valuable can't be seen to the naked eye. This area is home to one of the world's most abundant lithium deposits. And as more people buy electric cars, that chemical element will be critical for batteries. While these electric cars are seen as beneficial to the environment, Baldwin fears Piedmont Lithium's plans for an open pit mine will damage the environment around his grandparents' neighborhood. He's worried any dust from the mine will get into the nearby Beaver Dam and Little Beaver Dam creeks, which flow directly to the South Fork Catawba River.
Mining is extractive, and they're basically taking value out of Gaston County. It just doesn't seem like they're going to be good neighbors like other companies could be.
In a lengthy statement, Piedmont Lithium says they intend to be good neighbors, and they've been working with several agencies and organizations, including the Catawba Riverkeeper, to ensure their, quote, proposed operations will not have a detrimental effect on waterways in our area. But Baldwin, his grandparents, and other homeowners believe the company's efforts won't be enough, as the company still needs to submit applications and rezoning requests for the mine. Baldwin started a Facebook page and a petition to try to stop the company. Baldwin plans to discuss his concerns with county commissioners at their meeting tonight. In Gaston County, Brandon Goldner, WCNC.
This flooding in North Carolina does not sit well with me. I think something's going on. So I decided to do some digging. So the first thing I find out is North Carolina has the richest deposits of lithium in the entire world. Yeah, lithium for like cars, batteries, all that. Then I find out they have the world's highest purity quartz deposits. And that quartz just so happens to be the world's supply for AI chips, microchips, and all kinds of stuff. We're talking a $530 billion industry. So this is where it gets interesting. So a company by the name of Piedmont Lithium is awaiting a state mining permit for a site in northern Gaston County. And Gaston County is completely flooded right now. The project was awaiting zoning approval because they were getting backlash from the residents and also city officials. And this lithium mine they want would be the third largest producer of lithium in the world. And they made a deal with Tesla already. Now remember the quartz? So in Spruce Pine, North Carolina, right next to Ashland, they are wanting to expand their mines even larger. And the residents aren't having it either. Enter the floods. People, these are mountain towns. It rarely, if not ever, floods in the mountains. I would know, I grew up in the mountains in Colorado, which means none of these people have flood insurance. I mean, the media is saying biblical devastation in North Carolina, AKA like the worst thing that could happen, and you're not coming back from it. Read between the lines, people. Everything happens for a reason.
I'm so shocked that I actually have to make this PSA. But PSA, public service announcement, you do not get to tell people who have literally lost everything how they should feel about what they're going through because it doesn't fit your political agenda. That's not the way it works. If they're angry, they have a right to be angry. If they're sad, they have a right to be sad. If they are disappointed in their government, they have a right to be disappointed in their government. You do not have the right to tell them how they feel, weirdos. You don't. So whatever you have to say to these people who are making videos about their experiences, which are valid, their feelings, which are valid, instead of commenting some political bullshit on their videos, what you need to do is go outside, touch grass, come back in, write your comment on a sheet of paper, and throw it in the trash where it belongs. Because it's not helping anything. How about write a check? How about go to the store and get a donation? Okay? And then shut the hell up. Anyway, shut up. Have a good day. Bye.
So the EPA is now admitting that chlorine gas is filling the air in a huge radius around the Conyers, Georgia Biolab chemical plant that went up in flames in this big explosion just the other day. I'm getting messages from people in the area saying that when they step outside and even when they're inside, everything smells like burnt chemicals. There's a heaviness to the air. This is a very dangerous situation. This is unrestricted chemical warfare being waged against the American people by our government, who has abandoned these people just like they've abandoned Hurricane Helene victims, and by their private equity counterparts like BlackRock, who's tied to this facility. This facility is also tied into the Rothschild money, to Blackstone money, Israeli money. This is a bad
of our
situation.
business. What many people might not know is essentially all of the lithium in the world came from North Carolina in the 1950s to the 1980s. So the founder of our business had a view, North Carolina is a great place to do business. If we could build a land package and discover and find a lithium ore body, it could be a really profitable place to build a business. So we embarked on that starting in late 2016. I joined in the middle of 2017. We've made good progress. We took our land package in North Carolina from 415 acres to over 3,600 acres today. And along the way, as we were doing drilling and building up a big mineral resource and developing engineering plans and publishing studies, technical studies, the feedback we got from potential customers was, it looks like a great project. We're looking for suppliers who can supply more than that one project can supply. If you could get bigger, you'd be more relevant to us. This is feedback from big car companies and battery companies.
What does 9 feet above normally dry ground actually look like? There you have it. We're talking about water covering entire structures, just the roofs visible. And again, this is that life-threatening, devastating surge. And when you've got the wave action on top of this, oftentimes these structures aren't there any longer when you get back. So we see these buildings and structures and homes down to the slab. So storm surge, truly a devastating and most deadly impact of these storms. And Colleen, we think out of this one, Helene, we could be looking at some huge
This company controls the entire world.
BlackRock is an organization, it's a company publicly listed on NASDAQ that has tens of trillions of dollars of assets under management. They disclose that they have like 14 trillion, but that is only BlackRock. Then they own majority share in most of the companies in America. They own Pfizer, they own Moderna, they own all the airlines, they own all the social networks. So when you see all this stuff, all this agenda, kind of everybody working together, then you have to realize who actually owns it.
Based. This is the real reason why what is happening in North Carolina is happening. Their lithium ion is one of the most expensive metals out there right now. You need it for electric cars. They want to push this electric car agenda. And the only way that they can convert this land into mining is by destroying the land, displacing all the people. And so these people will not be saved. As much as we want to say that the government should spend billions of dollars to help these people, they are not going to spend the money. They are going to let these people suffer, let these people be displaced, so that these companies that are already installed, if you want to be like Nancy Pelosi, these are the companies you should be buying stock in. Because these companies are going to get rich with lithium ion production now. Rich. Because now that the land is destroyed, they're going to buy it up on pennies on the dollar. Pennies on the dollar. And they are going to convert this whole town into a lithium ion mine. I guarantee you, save this, bookmark it, and in less than 5 years, we could go back and see, now it's a lithium ion mine. America is not a country. It is a corporation funded by the banks.
So what do you think so far about the Piedmont company, BlackRock? And I absolutely agree with that statement. America is not a country. America is a corporation ran by the powers that be, the devils of the industries. They're not going to send help. And if you think this is just a conspiracy, just wait until they start buying up everything and turning the whole town. Instead of rebuilding the town, they're going to turn it into a mining operation. The world is all a stage, and we're pawns in this wicked chess game. Let's go.
The guy running BlackRock is really the president of the United States. They took 51 defense companies and they brought it down to only 5. It's only 5 companies right now when you want to buy anything. Think about that. So defense contractors is 5. We know how these guys make money. If you and I run a hotel, rooms are empty, we're not making money. We need people to stay in the rooms. If you and I are running a hospital, we need people on the beds to make money.
Yeah.
If there's no people on the beds, we ain't making money. If these 5 contractors are fighting for $744 billion, what do they want more of? Wars. They want more wars, more people dying, more profits, defense contractors, right? That's a valid concern that I have.
The North Carolina National Guard has a few assets up there. They're trying their best. But I'm talking to volunteers, including my colleague, Corey Mills, Representative Corey Mills, who are paying out of pocket, moving helicopters, moving supplies. And meanwhile, you've got a huge base at Fort Bragg, now Fort Liberty, with dozens of helicopters. And I'm talking to them. They haven't been authorized by Biden, Harris, or Secretary of Defense Austin. He just did today, a week into this. People are dying, John. They're running out of oxygen, medicine, the supplies that they need, water. This is very serious. Up in these mountains, the only way that you can get to them is by helicopter, and you've got a whole base full right down the street. Why haven't they gotten the go-ahead from the Pentagon to get up there? These are active duty helicopters that could be up there right now saving lives. And we're a week into this, and we've just now are getting 1,000 soldiers out of this White House.
That's a very good question, Congressman, and one that we will put to this administration to find out why they're not utilizing a readily available asset.
Coming together here in the Black Mountain area of North Carolina with privately owned helicopters, and what they're doing, they're shuttling in food, water, and emergency supplies, trying to help families in the hardest hit communities of the mountains of western North Carolina. And those people that are injured or in desperate need of help, they're getting helicopter rides back here to get to safety. These volunteers and complete strangers that came together say they need donations to continue helping these people hit hard by the torrential rainfall and flooding from Helene.
They're privately owned and privately flown. All of the helicopters that you see on the ground right now, these are all private citizens helicopters. They volunteered their time, they volunteered their effort to come out. We have a GoFundMe up that's running right now real time. And we're looking for more opportunity to try and generate sponsorships for people to donate so that we can help get these contracted pilots in and these aircraft in, as well as more supplies and materials. Now, one of the biggest issues is that locally, the stores are out of food, the stores are out of water, the gas stations are shut down, there's no power. And they don't have a timeline on when it's going to get restored. So if we can get more funding, we can get more supplies, and we can get the supplies out to people that are isolated. Right now, a majority of the roads that are in and out are completely impassable. They don't know when they can get up and running to actually get emergency management services out to these locations. So our best hope is through aerial recovery or aerial.
If you are a helicopter pilot who has been running rescues in the North Carolina mountains and you have been threatened with arrest, or if you know of someone who has, please DM me. U.S. Representative Dan Bishop wants to know about this. And when I called the office and spoke with his assistant, they asked me to please provide the names and contact information of anyone who has been threatened with arrest who is running helicopter rescues. So if you or anyone you know has been running helicopter rescues and has been threatened with arrest, please DM me or contact the office of U.S. Representative Dan Bishop. It's up to us, y'all. Let's make it happen.
So why do you think they don't want the pilots to go into and rescue people? Because they want to have the communities displaced. This was a plan. Well, it was a plan. I don't want to say attack because I don't want YouTube. I won't say attack. This was planned in a large capacity. The powers that be knew what they were doing. These people don't have flood insurance. Flood has never taken place in the mountains like it did. There's some other control going on here.
You want to go back out and try to help today, and his response was, there's so many messages, I don't think we can't not go help.
Sidham and his son were headed up to Black Mountain. Flight tracking shows no flight restrictions in place Saturday or Sunday morning when Sidham flew through the Lake Lure Gap. But that was all about to change. The Sidham spotted an older couple waving for help, then landed in what's left of their driveway.
Hey, I want you to let me get in. You step out and go out, help her in, put her bag in the back, get her strapped in. I'm going to take her down, come back. I'll take him, I'll come back, and then I'll get you, okay?
I originally left my son, co-pilot, on the side of the mountain. It was kind of unstable, so I didn't want to put more weight in the helicopter to lift back off. So I left my son with the other victim, and I was just going to take one person down at the time. And you can hear me in the video talking through with the victims and with my son what we're going to do.
3 minutes away, Sidham spotted a group of rescuers just down the river. He landed and found someone in charge.
Told him my background experience, law enforcement, firefighting, pilot. He immediately started helping with coordination. He gave me radio frequencies to coordinate with them on, set up a landing area for me to come back with the other victim. And in the middle of the whole conversation and then blocking the road off, I was greeted by the, at that time I didn't know, but Lake Lure fire chief or assistant chief maybe, and he shut down the whole operation. So at that point I felt like the conversation wasn't going any further. And again, he asked me to leave, and I said, hey, I have no problem getting out of your area. If that's what you want us to do, we'll leave, no issue. At that point, I asked him, what was the reason I had to leave them there? And he said, again, you're interfering with my operation. I just need you to get out of the area. I said, sir, I don't know where you were trained at, but I know how my training is, and I'm not going to leave personnel behind. I'm going back to get my co-pilot. He said, if you turn around and go back up the mountain, you're going to be arrested. I said, well, sir, I'm going back to get my co-pilot. I don't know what to tell you. And he said, I'm letting you know. And at that point, he waved for 2 law enforcement officers to come over and told me that again, if I go back up the mountain, I would be arrested.
He flew the 3-minute trip back, picked up his son, and left the woman's husband behind.
I'm sure he was flooded with emotions and trying to rescue other people, and I just felt that it was best at the time to leave. So I did follow his instructions, and I had a conversation with the female victim before I left, apologizing and explaining. She was standing there. She heard the whole conversation, and they were both very, very surprised, very upset. The husband, as I was leaving off of the side of the mountain, at that point, separated from his wife. He was upset. I can only imagine.
Sidham and his nearly 1,400 flight hours turned his chopper around and headed back to South Carolina, passing people waving for help along the way.
As I was actually leaving to go back to get my son, the original chief or captain that I spoke to, his crew and himself, they came back over and said, hey man, we can't tell you to go get the victim. We can't even ask you to go get the victim, but we can tell you if you come back with the victim, we'll have you a designated landing spot, and they won't. We'll make sure they don't come over here.
So there was no flight restriction when you went in?
No flight restriction when I went in. It went in place 20 or 30 minutes after the confrontation with Mr.
You feel like that was coincidental, or do you think that was because of what happened?
I don't think it can be coincidental when there has not been one in place the day before doing rescue operations, the night of, the morning of, that took place after our altercation. I think there would have never been a TFR put in place had we not had that conversation. If I had to do it over again, I would have stopped and I would have rescued as many people until they decided they were going to arrest me.
Well, for now, we've chosen not to name that Lake Lure fire official because communications in and out of that town are still difficult. We want to include his side in this story, and if and when he responds to our messages, we will include that. The good news is I saw a video of a Coast Guard helicopter landing in Lake Lure this morning, so hopefully some of those mountain rescues are underway today.
My house washed away. I had a cat, I had two geckos. I lost it all.
We lost everything, family, friends, homes, our jobs, everything, our animals. We have nothing. We got family members floating down the river.
Jackie and Alex say they're struggling to find help and that resources are strained.
FEMA's here. You know what FEMA just told us? We can't get you a phone. I have no ID. I have no way to pay for food. He has no way to get gas. We're stuck. So we have to sleep in a car that's leaking with the same clothes we've had on since the...
For now, these strangers have each other until they can find more help and reach family.
Yeah, she hopped in and she said, "Thank God for country people."
This little boy was nice enough to pick me up.
Reporting in Asheville, North Carolina, for AccuWeather, I'm Bill Waddell.
I'm Ham, and I have some mind-blowing dot connecting about Hurricane Helene. I'm going to start here. This lady sent this picture from South Africa. You all know I covered the blob anomaly and South Africa's crazy weather. These blue jelly balls were raining on this lady's parents. She asked me to look into this. Here's how this went, and trust me, it links back to this, and it's mind-blowing. I start to look into the jelly balls. Knowing it's not a craft project raining from the sky, I move on. I find that this is not the first time that blue jelly balls have been raining from the sky. This was 2012. We'll get back to that. I came across this. Blue jelly balls look kind of similar, and this is talking about how we could be drinking from water bottles made of these like gummy balls. Sounds charming? Let's move on. Thank goodness scientists looked into this and found out it was not marine eggs. These jelly blue balls raining from the sky were made of sodium polyacrylate. So I find out that polyacrylate has an impact on temperature, and it can be used for cooling and reflecting. It is not biodegradable and doesn't decompose quickly in nature, which is a little concerning if it's raining from the sky. So I go back to looking for anything that looked like a jelly blue ball that might rain from the sky, and I found this. This is droplet mixing with a piezoelectric transducer. Piezoelectric transducers are a type of electroacoustic sound transducer that converts the electrical charges produced by some forms of solid material into energy. It is energy related. Remember that. So, I ask AI, what does this have to do with my blue rainy jelly balls? Cloud seeding. While piezoelectric devices are not directly used for cloud seeding, they can contribute to the technology by helping control or monitor dispersal of the seeding materials like silver iodide, ultrasonic devices. Again, we have a sound element here. They may use piezoelectric transducers to create sound waves that can influence cloud formation and precipitation. Would you look at those jelly blue balls? Things you never thought you'd say. There's a sciencey description here of how they're intertwined, but importantly, these hydrophilic polymers can absorb large amounts of water. And you're thinking probably right now, what's this got to do with Hurricane Helene? Trust me. So we're energy harvesting. Now, in my video last night, I included lithium mining. I tread carefully there because I had a video banned. Now, here's the important thing, okay? The combination of piezoelectric transducers with blue polyacrylate hydrogels creates innovative solutions for sensing and energy harvesting applications. Again, with the energy harvesting. Trust me, this gets better. Here's where a big lightning bulb went off. So this kind of magical property of converting energy from one source into something else that's usable occurs in certain materials, like quartz. Hold that thought. Again, we all know there's loads of lithium out there. Well, did you know there's a ton of quartz, like $530 billion worth of quartz? You may be aware that the growing use of AI is going to require a staggering amount of power. Well, it turns out that quartz, while not powering AI directly, has properties that enable the hardware that powers AI to function effectively. Okay, we're going to go back to sound now. Another message from South Africa about hearing a strange humming and sound pulsing. Well, guess what else has been heard in some of these freaky storms?
What does that mean? What?
Well, we know it's sound. So, from the comments, I quickly gathered that this sounds like an instrument called a shofar. Here's what that sounds like. Definitely very similar. Wrapping this journey that we've just been on, thanks to the jelly blue balls, some experimental weather modification techniques involve ultrasonic devices, which may use piezoelectric transducers to create sound waves that can influence cloud formation and precipitation. Is this large presence of quartz a dot we need to connect? Is the lithium a dot we need to connect? The sound? Are the jelly blue balls involved? This concludes this deep dive for now. Anyone interested in emergency communications, see my playlist Hurricane Comms for how to get started and how to use radio in an emergency. And hey, while you're at it, get your ham radio license. I'll see you in the comments.
Take you down a rabbit hole so deep.
What Piedmont Lithium wants to get out from this land is the lithium underneath that can be mined and used by electric car companies like Tesla. Will, his mother, and other homeowners whose properties neighbor the mine's proposed borders are organizing against the company, which needs the blessing of county commissioners for a zoning change.
They've been operating in the dark for 4 years. It's frightening to think that a foreign company can come in and basically use scare tactics to get people to sell their property.
They're also concerned about potential pollution as a result of the company's mining. Piedmont Lithium Vice President Brian Reisinger says at tonight's meeting, they're going to show examples of how they plan to be environmentally friendly.
We're focused on building the most sustainable, environmentally responsible project of this kind in the world.
He says they don't condone any employees or contractors pressuring homeowners to sell their land.
We want to be good neighbors. We want to be part of the fabric of this community.
Do you believe them?
I don't feel like I can trust Piedmont Lithium. They've been
much needed supply chain for battery energy.
There's more lithium processing talent in Gaston County, English speaking, than anywhere else in the world.
A few residents recognizing these pros.
We're sitting on a gold mine. Literally, quite literally, we're sitting on good dirt.
I see the potential of a project like this. I'm going to embrace it.
But the majority of others more concerned about the cons.
They are willing to destroy people's lives, homes, and one of the most beautiful, peaceful areas in Gaston County for rechargeable batteries.
Deposits in the United States. So after the floods in North Carolina, I did a deep dive and I asked, where are the lithium deposits in the United States? And it showed me number 15, Kings Mountain. So here's Kings Mountain. I'm not going to ruin it for you. Google it and you'll know exactly why they're not helping those citizens in that state. There you have it.
So what is your spidey sense telling you? Is it tingling yet? There are too many coincidences. There are too many similarities. And this is all a setup. I'll keep saying that. The weather was manipulated. All right, Hawk, what do you think? We just took a deep dive down, this whole BlackRock thing, and you know what? The lithium and the quartz, the value of it, and what it's going to be used for, and what's needed. So, do you still think this is far-fetched? Do you still believe that this was just a once-in-a-lifetime type of hurricane or weather that occurred and just coincidentally, destroyed the town with all about $530 billion worth of material? Huh. All right, so that wraps up another one for the HFC podcast. Thank you again for being here with me as we do these reaction videos. Now, do your own research. All these TikToks are not fact-checked, except for the ones that's being sent from the survivors in the aftermath. As far as, the BlackRock and everything goes, do your research. As always, stay safe, stay blessed in these dark, deceptive times. HFC out. Peace.